we want a cashless society. It costs us $5 billion for checks and cash to move around our company.
You want a cashless society?
We are driving towards a faster, but we have more to gain than anybody in a sense from a pure operating cost. And
give a type of money that can only be spent for a specific number of reasons. And some worry about that state control or whatever, but like in this particular narrow use case, you want to give checks to individuals to get the economy moving again.
Yeah.
So if you think of programmable money that expires if you don't spend it.
But the amount of money that they were willing to give away is a cautionary tale as to what might happen when the next recession comes. And that's my thesis as to why long rates might actually, after the initial Pavlovian response of coming down, which has already happened to a not insignificant extent, that may get rejected and rates may start to go up. And that would be a real trap. I mean, you could even have like a failed auction or something. Remember when that happened in the UK and the long bonds went up 100 odd basis points in a day. I think we have a chance of that happening if the policy isn't handled correctly. But it's going to be fascinating to navigate through this because none of us know what it's like to have a big bear market in bonds, start from a level, and then will they drop during the recession? Maybe they won't. Where will credit spreads go during recession if, say, junkier borrowers don't have the ability to refinance during recession, which they've had historically because rates go down? Even though spreads widen during recessions, the base rate, the treasury rate, has always come down quite substantially. I'm of the mind that that might not happen this time. And so there could be a lot of companies that are trapped into fixed rate debt. Thankfully, these CFOs are smart. They locked in very tight spreads and very low rates back in 2021, and they extended maturity. So thankfully it's not an immediate problem.
Chatter, a lot more talk and hot breath. They did it. I think they should have 50 basis points. Hopefully we're on the way to a soft landing. I wouldn't count my eggs. And I think this one particular thing, all things being equal, has almost no effect on the election.
Welcome to the Crypto Teacher. And you know I come back with that video just to make you think.
Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel.
And make sure you join the Patrons. If you're not a part of the Patrons, make sure you're hitting the Cash App. And guys, make sure you go like and follow the TikTok. And we have the Fed printed 80% of all money in existence in 2 years. If only if the American people understood. But instead, they stay distracted on things that don't matter. They love the circus and free bread. America to Babylon. And we have Gunlack says that the corporations locked in rates. But the most important piece he left out, small businesses didn't. And small businesses are the backbone of the United States. So they're going to have to pay these high rates. So as we see small and medium-sized banks fall, small and medium-sized businesses are going to continue on falling. If you're part of my Patreon, I keep adding them. And then on top of it, that's just going to increase layoffs. And of course, the rise of the machines. And then we have Jamie Dimon on the soft landing. And we know he always plays the Hegelian dialectic. But we're definitely not going to get a soft landing when it comes to the fourth industrial revolution. But we clearly see them stepping up the distractions. And now they want to light up Africa. Now they keep talking about, oh, we need to get water in Africa. We need to make sure that we have lights in Africa. Why, guys? Because, of course, the fourth industrial revolution. Now it's time to bank the unbanked. India, China, Africa. And, of course, you're talking about the youngest population. And we know all the innovations come from that area. Africa, India, China, because they're still connected to Mother Earth. And we know they have ways to get water. We know they already have ways to get electricity. In Africa, they always have made a way. But because the NWO now has the robots, algorithms, and drones, and they can surveil every minute, now it's time to act like you're trying to take care of the globe. And because of cell phones, everybody can have a bank. That means NWO can tax the globe. And remember, the Crypto Teacher told you. And we have Trump on Israel. And you know I'm not going to speak on it up here. But the fact is the Middle East has to be in chaos. in order for the fourth industrial revolution to work. Remember, America is the last free nation, but the East is the last spiritual nation. And remember, the crypto teacher told you, because he knows when it comes to the NWO, it's all planned out. You have a wonderful day.
I mean, we heard Ashvin there talking about some of the public investors that they have there at the African Development Bank, obviously the World Bank. But it's interesting if you take a look at some of the organizations that are also a part of this pledge. And this is just the initial partners right now. So we have, obviously, the Global Alliance for People and Planet and Sustainability Energy for All. There's also foundations like the IKEA Foundation and the Bezos Earth Fund that are taking part in this initial one. And what was interesting when we spoke with Ashvin is that he told us that there are a lot of other investors potentially interested in the long term. He talked about a number of them being located where you are in the Middle East, and also just globally, many people seeing the need and the opportunity that exists here, but still wanting to get to the heart of some of the issues and the concerns that there have been in the past around investing in some of these projects. But definitely he believes that there is a long list of people who will continue to join this pledge because they have a goal for $90 million in a few years.
And how do they plan to mitigate the risks involved in this kind of endeavor?
And this was something we wanted to speak to Ashvin about because, you know, a lot of times on the continent, we talk about the number of projects that are started, but the issue always becomes seeing them all the way through, right? They get off the ground, but it's seeing them through. And that's really where a lot of investors have, and Ashvin shared this with us, expressed concern in particular about getting involved. And so they have talked about, they have a joint governance body that is looking into some of the risks that have happened in the past with some of these projects. They're also trying to come up with the right mechanisms to get around some of the currency risks, potentially in investing in different parts of the continent, and also ensuring that the public sector is a part of this, because he did continue to stress that, yes, this is the private sector mobilizing capital, but the only way that things are going to actually get done is if the public sector has the political will. He said that a few times to me, the political will to see things through and to ensure that we see some of these projects actually getting the help and the support and the regulation that they need. So still a lot to overcome, but this is significant that they've been able to mobilize this capital, especially for a continent that really does need to be electrified to help boost the economy and you know, increase jobs.
And Jen, what is the long-term potential they actually see for a project like this? Clearly, there's a lot of focus on investment, on bringing in other partners, but what are they looking to extract from this? What is the long-term return on investment potential?
Exactly. And that is kind of to the heart of it, Jumana, because these investors, as much as this is a moral need and a good thing to do, they are not getting into it just for that reason, right? They are looking for bankable projects. And so Ashvin walked us through a few of the projects that they've identified. And they're saying that this is not necessarily going to be targeted to just a few of the countries that they've initially come out with this pledge. They are hoping that more countries, more projects continue to surface that they can invest in. But again, they see a need to make sure that a lot of these projects are bankable and they can actually get electricity to people, because this is a continent that is suffering from some of the worst electricity depletions for their citizens, excuse me. And so the opportunity is there for the economies themselves, for the businesses, for the entrepreneurs who are potentially starting this. And therefore, he sees this translating to the global economy because, of course, this is the youngest. The population is one of the youngest in the world. They are going to be the workforce of the future. So getting this continent electrified and connected is going to be beneficial for more people than just here on Africa.
We don't win this election. Israel, in my opinion, within a period of 2 to 3 years, will cease to exist. It's going to be wiped out. That's what's going to happen. It's a tough thing to say, but what difference does it make from my standpoint? I have to tell you the truth, and maybe you'll be energized, because there's no way that I should be getting 40% of the vote. I'm the one that's protecting you, and I will be the best friend Jewish Americans have ever had in the White House. Sadly, and I have to say this, and it hurts me to say it, you're going to still vote for Democrats and it doesn't make sense. I say all the time that any Jewish person that votes for her, especially now, her or the Democrat Party, should have their head examined.
Going to a different economy, and we're going to be learning more about that as we go. But clearly, we're learning that things can be done from remote locations. We're learning that technology can replace people even more than we thought.
We're not going back to the same economy. We're recovering, but to a different economy, and it'll be one that is more leveraged to technology. And I worry that that is going to make it even more difficult than it was for many workers.
In Silicon Valley, and my friends who work in technology know that what we did to the manufacturing workers, we are now going to do to the retail workers, the call center workers, the fast food workers, the truck drivers, and then even bookkeepers, accountants, insurance agents, lawyers, and on through the economy. So what happened to the manufacturing workers is a very clear sign.
And so we'll import Chinese-based CBDC technology. So it's going to be CBDC in a box provided to you by the People's Bank of China.
But every stock, every bond, every currency, every commodity, every piece of art, every private business, every piece of real estate will eventually be a token on a blockchain, an entry on a ledger, permanent and immutable. We will have truth instead of trust, and we will save over $7 trillion a year. 6 to 8% of global GDP is wasted by the friction of the trust industry that's necessary when you have dual entry accounting. With triple entry accounting, which is what a blockchain is, we get rid of all of that friction. It's a beautiful future.
Like what you see in China and their social credit scoring systems, right? If we get identity wrong, it could be a tool to enslave humanity. And if we get it right, it could be a tool to liberate humanity. And as an American, I'm obviously rooting for the one that's on the side of freedom.
Bitcoin is an international asset. And also, I do believe the role of crypto is, it's digitizing gold.
I actually believe this technology is going to be very important. Look at it. We have been part of a huge revolution in investing through ETFs. We believe that ETFs will be changing the whole way we invest. Many people still use it as a means, people are investing it for indexing. No, the majority of people who are putting money in in ETFs are active investors that are buying exposure. The entire bond market is being transformed as we talk right now. I believe the next generation for markets, the next generation for securities will be tokenization of securities. And if we could have that distributed ledger that we know every beneficial owner, every beneficial seller, we all have our code of who's buying, who's selling, instantaneous settlement. And think about it, it changes the whole ecosystem.
Chinese bank ICBC has been hit by a ransomware attack, and the U.S. Treasury market, as a result of that, has been disrupted. This, according to the Financial Times. We're getting it more right now with Bloomberg's Shonali Bassick. Shonali, what do we know?
Listen, we have the Financial Times now reporting that ICBC, one of China's largest banks here, was hit with a ransomware attack. And remember, they're a very significant intermediary in the Treasury market. The SIFMA has told its members that this has been part of the reason here that the system is kind of clogged up, if you will, during that auction that we saw a little bit before. The attack had prevented ICBC, according to the Financial Times, from settling Treasury trades on behalf of other market participants. A large executive at a major bank also telling the paper that such a large party on the fixed income clearing corp creates major concerns, potentially impacting the liquidity of Treasury markets.
Now, it was not just a poor auction. It was absolutely lousy, and when the dealers have to step in to save a treasury auction, that's a rare occurrence. And
Cryptoteacher and the New World Order book, plus the 3 Kids books. It's time to re-educate. Also, new to cryptos, Coinbase, Bitrue, Binance. Do not forget book links and crypto links are in the description. The stock channel, guys. Don't forget to go like, subscribe, spread everywhere. You have your Kobo, your chip stocks, your banking, your gaming. While everybody's sitting at home, get on stocks, the Seaver, the biotech stocks. And while everybody's at home wishing they were still getting that free money, what are they doing? drinking and smoking weed. Don't forget about those stocks, and you have a wonderful day. The most powerful person in the world is the storyteller. The storyteller sets the vision, values, and agenda of an entire generation to come. Steve Jobs. And guys, you know I truly believe in this. When you look at the New World Order, they're the storytellers. And that's the reason why I wrote my New World Order book. But guys, now it's time to change the current generation. And I wrote 3 kids' books. You know, I love the Trinity because I understand the power that's in it. So I have 3 books. We have an opportunity to change the generation, to educate, not just me, but I want to show you that I take action on a daily basis. And I want you to take action on a daily basis. Whether it's your job, whether it's in your community, we have an opportunity right now to educate the masses. I posted this on my Twitter account. Please share, but this is a short clip of the 3 books. There's going to be a clothing line and action figures. Please get these books for your kids, nephews, cousins, friends, so therefore we can start the re-education now. Because as we see, the 4th Industrial Revolution foundation is definitely here. Robots, algorithms, drones, taking humanity out the picture. We have to re-educate. But let's get into the video.
Part 1. King Joshua and Grandma Tam save the village. Part 2. King Joshua and Grandma Tam save New York from COVID-33. Part 3. King Joshua and Grandma Tam goes to China.
It's mandatory to get part 1, part 2, and part 3 of this series. It's time to re-educate Generation Z.